clam chowder. Bought those red potatoes. For those of you that watch my vlogs, I bought a big 10-pound bag of red potatoes at Costco. Such a good deal. And I was gonna make potato cheese soup, but I thought, oh, you know, we haven't had clam chowder in over a year. So I'm making my clam chowder. Only I'm changing a couple of things to lighten up. In this by-quart stock pot, I have 3 quarts of chicken stock. And I'm just putting my potatoes in there, and we're gonna add celery, onions, and instead of, I usually do bacon, but instead of doing regular bacon, I've cooked off some applewood smoked turkey bacon, and surprisingly enough, it's delicious. I had never had that particular one or that brand. I've had other turkey bacon that I think is yuck, but I like this one, so we're gonna use that in there. So that'll get rid of some of that saturated fat that we don't necessarily need in our diet. Now we are gonna have some cream in this at the end, so trade-off. It is what it is. Okay, I've got a can, let's see, this is a 14-ounce can of baby clams, and I've got some clam juice. I've got a couple of those. I've got some ribs of celery. I'm probably gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ribs of celery, and that's organic celery, and half of this very large onion. I'm gonna use half of it. So when I know I'm only gonna use half, leave your root end on. This is a kitchen tip. And cut it skin through. Leave the skin and the root end on, the part that you're gonna store for later. If you take all that off, it starts drying out immediately, and it's hard to get it back to fresh. You can't, actually. So in all senses of the word, this is kind of a potato soup as well. It's got potatoes, celery, onions. I can put carrots in here, and I haven't decided yet. But I want a really classic New England clam chowder feel to this. So that's what I'm doing. And as soon as I get everything in here, I'm going to put this on the stove. I'm going to season it with salt and pepper. Actually, I'm not going to put any salt in it until I'm done, because the clams have some salt, and yeah, I think I'm going to leave that out until I taste it at the end. But I will put black pepper, lots of black pepper. And really, this is a pretty quick weeknight meal, because you can have this once you get everything prepped. It can then be on the table. You got about 15 minutes of prep time tops, and it can be on the table after a half hour. It's done. The potatoes are done, the celery's done, everything's done. So now you could saute off your onions separately or in the pan. What I usually do is I crisp up my bacon, leave that fat in there, and then do my onions and celery, sweat them down. But because we're skipping the bacon, we're gonna skip that step, and it'll still be wonderful. So my celery, I cut down the center first, so they're smaller bite-sized pieces, and I love lots of celery. I am a big celery fan. It's so good for you, and it just is such a great aromatic in any kind of soup. Okay, and then I think we're gonna need some garlic, so I'll be chopping up some garlic. I'll probably chop up 3 or 4 large cloves of garlic as well. So let me bring you back when we've got it on the stove and we're adding whatever else we need to add. And you guys can see the bullet burn. Okay guys, so in the pot, it's already started to come up to temperature, is a very light chicken stock. And then my red potatoes, and that was about 1 pound, maybe 1.5 pounds. You want it, you just figure out how many you like in there. We like that many. And so I'm gonna go ahead. I've got my celery here. That was 6 ribs of celery. You can change that up any way you want or leave it out if you don't like celery. Okay, my half an onion, and that's a lot of onion. And then that little clump of garlic that I had, that's about, a good heaping tablespoon of minced garlic. And I chop my onion pretty small if I'm not gonna saute it down. And it already looks good. And soup, it's just that kind of weather. It's not got out of the 30s today. So look at that. Now you can see we're coming together. And we're going to thicken this with a roux at the end. But I'm going to tell you, this thing of clams, look how little bitty they are. Each clam, they're baby clams for sure. They're no bigger than that. So what I did, and I drained off a lot of the liquid, but I took half of them out. I put them into the refrigerator, and I'm gonna make a clam dip, and either that or I'm gonna freeze them. I don't know. You're not gonna feel like you got anything. So I get these clams at Trader Joe's, and they are delicious. They're actually Maine whole cherry stone clams. I had to cut these into thirds, and the juice and nectar in this is phenomenal. So I have one more jar I might go ahead and put in there, but I think that's gonna be enough. What do you guys think? Can you see all the clams? I think that's enough. But one more of these would be fantastic. Okay, so now what I want to do, I've got this on low, but I want to take a little bit of a taste test because, okay, see, I'm glad I'm not adding salt yet. It has a good clam flavor, but I think I'm going to leave the clam juice. I guess I need the clam juice in there. Cracked pepper, and a lot of it. I'll be adding more later, trust me. And I don't mind if it has the pepper flakes in there. In fact, I prefer that to white pepper. That's just me. So let's put the clam juice, and I'm only going to put 1 8-ounce bottle of that. We're barely going to have enough room in this pot. Oh my goodness. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be really good. So we'll do a roux to thicken this up at the very end, and it will be fantastic when the onions and the celery give it the flavor. Yeah. That didn't add any more spice or anything, or any more salt, because there's very little salt in the clam juice. 30 milligrams, no MSG. Anyway, okay, now we'll move forward. And sometimes I add a really nice white wine to this, or sherry, but tonight we're just gonna have a plain and simple weeknight meal. It's not gonna be a dinner guest meal. If I was doing dinner guests, I'd definitely spruce it up a bit. And I'll add my turkey bacon at the very end. I'm gonna get that all chopped up so it's nice and ready to go. Hopefully there's enough room in my little Cuisinart pot here, because we're gonna be eating clam chowder for a minute. Okay, so here's the clam chowder. Isn't it beautiful? Oh my gosh. Come down in there for some potatoes and clams and bacon. Oh my. Just beautiful, creamy, comforting, and hot. Ooh, very hot. So I topped it with a little more pepper. I'm also going to put, sprinkle some turmeric on there, just because we eat this every day. And I garnished with a little parsley flakes. And hopefully I can manage this bite. It's hot. Potato. Oh my gosh, it's so good. The bacon is perfect. It feels lighter. It's so good. Absolutely delicious. Chunky. Wonderful chowder to have on a cold winter night. And I don't want Michael to lose his spoon. This is my husband's plate, so I'm going to put the spoon off onto the toast points that I've got with homemade toasted bread. So I hope it inspires you to make a big pot of clam chowder on a little lighter note and change things up a little bit. It's so delicious. dip that toast or have some crackers in there. It's really, really good. Creamy, decadent. Perfect. All right, guys. I hope you try this. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that if you really liked it, you'll come back and watch my videos. Go ahead and subscribe. If you haven't been a subscriber yet, there's a red button down there. Go ahead and hit that button, and go down below and check the links that I've left for you, because I quite possibly have a link to this Cuisinart contour pot down in the About section. If not, you can search for it on an Amazon link, and the channel gets credit, and we appreciate it. All right, guys. Oh, check my Facebook page, my mailing address if you ever want to drop me a line. And as always, I can't wait to see you next time for another delicious recipe on Linda's Pantry. All right.